Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and what an exciting weekend it was in Liga. A couple of big results. PSG getting that huge win against Marseille. Nice defeating Monaco. That was a shock result. First defeat for Monaco, and other exciting results over the weekend as well. So let's go ahead and review them, and we are going to review my predictions as well that I made before the game week, and we're going to see how many points I am able to achieve. 1 point if the entire prediction is correct, and half a point if the prediction is correct but the scoreline is not correct. So let's go ahead and get started. The first game, it was a Rennes versus Ligue. I went for a 2-1 away win. It ended up being a 1-0 win, so I don't 1-0 win for Rennes, so I don't get any points. The thing is, I expected it to be a very close game, a very tough game where because both these teams are really struggling, and I thought it was going to be yet another one of those games where it becomes a very tough and very close. And I just thought that Ligue, because the problem with Rennes has been that they are not really able to convert the chances that they create, and I thought Ligue themselves, they both these teams, they like create chances but they're not able to convert those chances. So I thought this but as compared to Rennes, Ligue have been a bit better, so that's why I thought they might go ahead and get the win. But it was not a close game as I expected, if I'm being very honest with you, and if I'm being fair to Rennes. I think they completely dominated Ligue. They controlled the possession, they created good amount of chances, and yet again it's 1-0 because Rennes are not able to convert the chances that they have created. They are not able to finish them off, and that is why they are struggling, and they are in the bottom half of the table. Because if you look at their score and the way that they play, they should be in that top half, but because they are not able to convert the chances that they make, they are struggling, and that is why they're in the bottom half. Ligue, on the other hand, they were never in that game. I'll be very honest with you. It was a really bad performance. They got completely dominated. The way that Rennes played that game, the way that they controlled the possession, they really did not let Ligue even have a sniff of something. It was a very good calm composed performance by the entire team, and I think they're fairly, they deserve to win that game and to get those 3 points. And with that, they moved up to 11th, and I would say they would be very happy with that they are now, there's a big distance between them and the teams at the bottom, so they would be really happy with that. Ligue, on the other hand, now it's sixth defeat in a row. 6 defeats in a row. It's not looking good for them at the moment. They started the season brightly, 6 points in the first 3 games, but since then it has been a defeat after defeat after defeat, and they really need to stop that because I keep on saying, if winning is a habit, losing is a habit, and now it has sort of become a habit for them. The first couple of games it looked like they were fighting, but slowly it is now. This game they were atrocious, if I'm being very honest, and they have dropped down to 17. They are in the relegation zone, so it is not looking good for them. And if they want to stay in Liga, they really need to get their act together. Otherwise, they are gonna go down. The next game was a huge one. It was Angers versus Saint Etienne. I went for a 1-0 win for Angers, but they ended up winning a 4-2. So I get half a point in this prediction. That the thing with Angers, like the last couple of weeks, like they are performing, they are playing really good. Their performances have been really good, and I just thought that they were getting there to get that first win of the season, and they were lucky enough they got that first win of the season. It was very important for them, and they richly deserved it, if I'm being very honest with you, because the way that they started the game, the way that they came out of it, out of the blocks, like I think they caught Saint Etienne by surprise. It was a very good game of football, and I think Saint Etienne responded as well. I really did not expect this game to be such fast paced, such end-to-end stuff. Like both these teams have just scored 6 goals each in their 8 games, and in this game we had a total of 6 goals in one game. That's how different this game was as compared to their other teams, because both teams knew how important this game was. Both the teams knew how important this game was, because both of them were struggling. I'm struggling, I don't know why. Because both of them are struggling, and they knew they needed to get those 3 points. Angers get the lead. Saint Etienne, they equalized. We are 1-0 up inside first 20 minutes. Angers, they go ahead and they reclaim the lead just before the halftime, but Saint Etienne, they come back in the second half and they make it 2-2. But Angers, to their credit, I would say again, they did not let their heads drop. Most of the times when you have not won a game for so long, and stuff like this happens, usually the players head stop, and there's agitation in the ground as well, and the fans may also start to think maybe it's again going to be one of those days. But credit to the Angers player, they did not let their head fall, and they kept on going for those 3 points, and they were able to get them quick fire 2 goals, and it becomes a 4-2, and they get that win. Huge massive win for them. It's their first win of the season, and it's the first time that they are out of the relegation zone, so it's a massive moment for them. They move up to 15th. Saint Etienne on the other side, on the other hand, they dropped to 16th with that loss, and that is why I said it was a very important game and a huge win for Onjo. The next game was Rams versus Brest. I went for a 2-0 win for Rams. It ended up being a 2-1 win for Brest, so I don't get any point out of that. I just thought that Rams, they have been in a really good form. They lost on the opening weekend, and after that they were on a 6-game undefeated run, and they lost last weekend. It was a surprise and a shock defeat for Rams, but I thought they were going to make a comeback against a Brest side who are sort of having a mini revival, but they are quite inconsistent. So I just thought that Rams, they would want to, you know, get back on winning ways, and they needed a response, and I thought this was the best game for them. But this game was nothing like I expected it would be. Brest were brilliant. Like they I think Rams were also taken by surprise with the way that Brest started the game from the get-go. Like they were on top of it physically. They won every 50 challenge there was, and they just kept on going. They were 2-0 up inside the 20 minutes. Like I was so surprised with the way that they were playing, and even after going 2-0 up, they really did not stop. They did not let Rams breathe even for a moment. And even though Rams got ahead and they got got a goal for themselves as well, but like they tried, like they were not really able to get like they were not able to get over Brest in that game. They tried a lot, they created a lot of chances, but they were just not able to get that equalizer. And Brest, to their credit, even though they were attacking really good, they defended really well as well, and I think they deserved those 3 points. So without any doubt, they were really good in that game, and as I said, they deserved those 3 points. And with that, this is now their third win in the last 5 games. That mini revival is starting to look really good. They started the season really bad, and now they are making a big result. That now they, with that win, they have moved up to 10th place. So they would hope that it continues and they can try to get back into the upper half of the table. Like a lot of people expected them to drop after last season, and the drop has been quite big. But I still think that with the squad that they have, they are not gonna be in that lower half. I still think they might finish in a top 8, top 9, and I think Brest would hope that with the way that they are playing, this continues. Rams, on the other hand, it is the second defeat in a row, third defeat of the season, and they need to go back to the drawing boards, and they need to come up with something new. And they would hope that after that they can start winning the games like they were doing before these 2 weeks. Moving on to the next game, it was Lens versus Lille. I went for a 1-1 draw between these two teams. It ended up being a 2-0 win for Lille, so I don't get any points in this game as well. The thing is, Lens have been that sort of the team who are drawing a lot of games. Like they have already drawn 6 games, and even though they won last weekend, I just thought that playing against a Lille side, they would not be able to get over the line. Lille, they were playing. It was like their third game of the week. They played against Monaco over the weekend, then they played in the Champions League, and now they had to play against Lens side. They were going away, and all their 3 games were away as well. So I brought all of those into that factor as well. Like I thought it would be a very boring 1-1 draw, and if I'm being very honest with you, it ended up being a draw as well. It's not like I was far away from my prediction, because the entire game it was quite competitive, but there was like not many chances, or very few chances created by both the sides, and up until the 90+ minute it looked like it is a draw, and then they'll get given a penalty, which was quite controversial. I don't think it was a penalty. The defender, unfortunately, he's trying, the challenge has been done, he's almost falling down, and the ball hits his hand. He's not like, it's not like he is deliberately getting the ball, he's falling down and the ball touches it, and they still give the penalty. Quite a controversial take, if I'm being very honest with you. For me, it is not a penalty, but Lille get the penalty. They convert it in the 98th minute, and a 1-0, and Lens after that, they want to get that equalizer. They throw their men ahead in search of an equalizer, and there's nobody at the back. Easy counter attack for Lille, and they make it a 2-0, and they get those 3 points. Big win for them. If I'm being very honest, I don't know what's happening with me today. If I'm being very honest, but I would still say that I would say Lens were quite unlucky. Third win in the last 5 games for Lille. They are fourth, but they're now tied with on points with third place Marseille. Lens, on the other hand, down to 5th again, 3 points behind Lille, and they have finally lost their first game of the season, and their undefeated streak is finally over. The next game was a Lyon versus Auxerre, and I went for a 3-1 win for Lyon. It ended up being a 2-all draw, so I don't get any points in this game as well. The thing was that Lyon have been a really good form coming into this game, and I thought it was gonna continue. Auxerre themselves have been in a good form. They won last week as well, and I thought it was gonna be a close game, but I just thought that Lyon have too much for Auxerre, and they are gonna get the win. But credit to Auxerre, they came into this game and they fought really well. They did not let the occasion get to them. It was your coming away to Lyon, a big stadium, a lot, big, almost 50,000 fans looking down at to you, and you would expect a team like Auxerre to be under pressure, but it never really felt like that. They went toe to toe. It was a really good game of football, and they got behind in a controversial manner. I would say that penalty again, it's a 50-50. You could have easily not given that. It's still a controversial call in my opinion. They gave the penalty to Lyon, they converted it, becomes 1-0. But the credit I would give to the credit to Auxerre, but they did not let it affect them. The moment they come out for a second half, 2 minutes into it, they equalize the game and it becomes a 1-all. And then Lyon again have to go and get that the goal that puts them in charge, and they did it. It's not like Lyon did not, because it was a very good game. Both teams really created chances. It was a fast pace. I like it was a very good weekend in Liga. Almost all the games were really fast paced, a lot of goals, very competitive games. A very few one-sided games this weekend, and Lyon, to their credit, they go ahead and they take the lead, but that lead lasted just 10 minutes, and Auxerre, they came back quickly, they equalized and they make it a 2-2, and then it was a really good defensive performance for the last 10-15 minutes, as they make sure that they games they see this game out, because they really wanted to get something from this game, and in my opinion they deserve to get something out of this game, and it ended up being a 2-all draw. 1 point for Auxerre, and as they move up to 11th in the table, they are getting away from sorry, not 11th, 13th in the table, sorry, as they are getting away from that relegation places. Lyon, on the other hand, they are 3 beaten. They were 3-game winning streak has come to an end, and they are still 7th, but they are now on the same points as Lens and Reims, and they are very close to getting back into those Champions League places. The next one was Nice versus Monaco. I went for a 2-0 Monaco win. Monaco have been really good this season. They came in this game undefeated on same points as PSG, and I thought it was gonna be an easy win for them. Nice, they have been quite inconsistent. Before this game they had played 3 draws in a row, so I thought that it was going to be an easy win. And the way the game started, like, Monaco were really good. They started in a great fashion. They attacked from the get-go. It was like it looked like it was not a question of if, but when they are going to score in that game, and it resulted in that way. Midway through the first half, they go ahead and they scored the goal, but it gets ruled out by because of offside, but it doesn't stop Monaco, as they kept on going, and they eventually take the lead around the 40-minute mark. They take the lead, and it becomes 1-0 for Monaco, but that lead lasted very for a very short period of time. 5 minutes later, Nice go ahead and they equalize. It becomes 1-1, but things got back towards for Monaco, as they get just before the end of first half. They are down to 10 men, and that basically changed the game. Even though in that second half, I think Monaco, despite being down to 10 men, they played brilliantly. They were still they continued with that fast-paced attacking football, free-flowing passes. It was a really good performance from them, and unfortunately for them, they lost the game because of a stupid back pass, a stupid mistake, and that resulted in Nice getting the goal, and it becomes a 2-1. And after that, even though Monaco tried, they were not really able to get the equalizer, and they lost the game. Big win for Nice. It was very important for them that they got the win, so they would be very happy. Monaco, they were on the other hand first defeat of the season, and now the main thing is it will be interesting to see how they react, because they're still not they have not lost the game till now, and they were looking really good. They've now lost their first game of the season in Liga. It will be I will see how they react. They're now 3 points behind PSG as well, so it will be very interesting to see their response next week. The next game was Montpellier versus Toulouse, another huge game. I went for a 0-0 draw, because both these times have been really struggling to score the goals, to get anything good out of them, and I thought it was going to be a very boring game. It was nothing like that. I mean, Toulouse shocked everybody with that performance. It ended up being a 3-0 win for Toulouse, and it was a dominating performance by the away side. They were 2-0 up inside the first 10 minutes. That basically was it. It became a 3-0 inside the 30-minute mark. So that basically ended and Montpellier were never really in that game. Toulouse controlled the game and not just control, they dominated that game in every aspect, possession based, scores, whatever you want to say. Like it for majority of the game, it just felt like a men against a boys. It was a very good performance, and things kept going up from back towards for Montpellier. They were 3-0 down. Second half comes in, they get down. They are reduced to 10 men like the 10th minute of the second half, and as I said, it was just a bad day at the office for Montpellier. Another big defeat for them. For Toulouse, it was an enormous win. Huge 3 points. It looked like they are gonna get sucked into that relegation battle, but with that win, they have moved up to 14th. Even though the point difference is not that much, but being away from that area is still a lot better than being in there. Montpellier, on the other hand, it's their fourth defeat in a row. They are at the bottom of the table, minus 21 goal difference. I think that is the biggest problem for Montpellier. The minus 21 goal difference that is going to come into play at the end of the season, because so many teams are in and around that area of relegation, and it is not a really good. There was no new manager bounce for them. That sacked their manager last weekend live on TV after that thumping by Marseille, and for unfortunately for them, the new manager bounce, nothing happened, and Jean Gasset has a big job at his end, enormous job at his end. How he takes this Montpellier aside from the bottom of the table and somehow takes them to safety, it will be very interesting to see. And at the moment, it doesn't look like he will be able to do it, because nothing good is happening and nothing is going in the right direction for Montpellier. Then it was Strasbourg versus Nantes. I went for a 1-1 draw because I just couldn't separate these sides, because it was so close between them. But that game completely separated them. Like Strasbourg were on a different level in that game. How they came out of the blocks. Like Nantes did not have, even like they did not couldn't realize what was happening to them. That's how good Strasbourg were in the early stage of the game, and they got their reward as well. They created a couple of chances. They came close to 3 times, but then finally they get a one. They go 1-0 up inside 20 minutes, and they still kept on going and going. Nantes really did not have any answer to Strasbourg's offensive play in that first half. Second half comes in, and Nantes had a great chance early on in the second half to equalize, but they missed that chance, and then Strasbourg Strasbourg punished them. They go 2-0 up, 3-0 up. It was very easy for Strasbourg to get that win. I think Nantes just couldn't. Basically, they didn't run a bit. That's as simple as that. And Strasbourg made them pay very easily. 3-0 up. They did get a goal, a consolation goal around the 84th, 85th minute mark, but it doesn't really matter. A huge win for Strasbourg. They move up to 9th, and they are starting to look really good. They played really good against PSG last week, and I did say that in the review as well, that they were good against PSG, even though a lot of people thought that it was going to be an easy win for PSG, but it was a tough game for PSG. Even but the scoreline did not show it, but it was a tough game for them. And now again they have won. They put on a great performance against Strasbourg. They moved up to 9th, and they know that the point difference between them and the team above them is like only 2 or 3 points. So they have a big chance to get into those European places. Nantes, on the other hand, at the start of the season was very good for them, but now there is a continuous drop in their performances, and their places as well. They have now dropped down to 12th, and if they really want to get some back into that top half of the table, they really need to start playing better and start getting the results. And the last game was the big one of the weekend. It was Marseille versus PSG. It was first versus third, two teams going really at it for the title. And I thought it was gonna be a really close game with Marseille, somehow getting the win in this game. But it was nothing like that. I mean, they basically got destroyed in that game, if I'm being very honest with you. PSG, they come out of the blocks very early. They were on the offensive, and even though Marseille were the home side, I think PSG took control early on, and they got that early lead, and that sort of set back Marseille, because they have sort of become a side under De Zerbi, who are the ones that start playing that type of football with the way that PSG were playing, and everybody thought that that is why everybody thought it was going to be a goal fest. But Marseille couldn't contain a PSG in that early stage, and that gave PSG the upper hand. They got the goal, and even after that Marseille couldn't really respond to it, and things got bad towards for Marseille. A red card given. It was in a way not that a bit controversial, not that controversial. I think he takes his foot is quite high, if I'm being very honest with you. Was it intentional? Not it was not intentional, but the foot was quite high. It hits him all about the chest area, so it's a red card. In my opinion, it was a fair decision, a bit controversial, but I would still say it was a red. Majority of the time it will be a red, so it's a red card. And 9 minutes later, a horrendous bad pass. I mean, I just say if things are not going your way, they are gonna not it's going to get worse and worse. They get down to 10 match, then 9 minutes later a horrendous bike pass. I don't know what was the defender doing there. It becomes a 2-0 for PSG, and then Barcola saves the game at the 40th minute mark. It becomes a 3-0 for PSG, an easy goal for them, and that was it in the first half. The game was. Then second half, PSG, I mean, they just toyed with them. They really did not care. They knew that they had won the game. Marseille, they were never in that game. A couple of chances created, but nothing to that would threaten PSG that much. And in the end, a huge 3 points for PSG, because they defeated Marseille. Monaco had already lost, so they knew how important this game was, and they would be really happy with that performance. It is another statement. Like, this was the first big game that really mattered in the league, and I think PSG have given the statement that we are still there. A lot of us, including me, we still think that it's going to be a very tight race at the top of the table in Liga. I still don't think PSG are going to win the league quite easily as they did last year or a couple of years ago. I still think it is going to be a very tough for them to win the league. It will be a very tighter race. But with this weekend, as I said, it was a statement win, telling everybody that we are still the big dog, and we are gonna win the game, win the league quite easily. But it was a really good performance. They now have a 6 points lead against Marseille and Lyon. We cannot forget that Lille are for same points as Marseille, and they have a 3 points lead against Monaco as well. So big victories for big victory for them, and now a drop in points for Marseille. They have quite a big defeat. It will be interesting to see how they respond after this dropping coming in the next weekend. For PSG, amazing night. And with that, my prediction and a review of Liga Matchday 9 is completed. It was a horrendous weekend for me. Out of 10, I just managed to get half a point. I mean, how bad? At least I got a point, half a point. That is because of one game. Almost every result that I went with, it was wrong. Like, I cannot sit here and say something about that. Like, it was such a bad performance. Liga is like, it is now becoming a nightmare for me. Last weekend also it was so bad. This weekend as well, it is. No, I cannot say anything after that. It's such a bad performance. I guess that I thought that last weekend was back. It became even worse this weekend. I think the only thing is that it cannot go lower than that. I cannot be because like there were so many results where I really couldn't. Monaco lost, Lyon drew. Like, these are the type of games that you really don't think are gonna happen. But what can say? That is why we love football, and that is why we sit here and we talk about and we make our predictions to see. Sometimes eggs on our faces, and sometimes we feel like royalty when we get our predictions right. So yeah, but that's it from me. Let me know how many of your predictions came true. Let me know how your teams did over the weekend, and whether they are doing good or you are in trouble. Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We try to follow all the 5 leagues, and we try to do different type of content here, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.